Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Welcome to the Rob and Mike Show, and welcome to the new space.
Woo! We're fancy. We got a fire now.
We are. We've got a screen, y'all, and we have recliners now. So
we do. I feel very Cisco.
I know it's really hard. You're just like, this is nice. This is nice.
But you know what we always like to do to start the show? Ooh, excuse me. I just hit puberty. How we like to start the show? That's Mike,
and that's Rob. You guys, thanks again so much for tuning in. We just want to thank you all so much. The Facebook responses, the great comments that we're receiving on YouTube, we really are just flabbergasted by how interested you are in us being us, and we really just can't thank you enough, because honestly, without you, and the great support and feedback that we've gotten, this probably wouldn't be as much fun. And here's the thing. You guys are making this fun for us. We really enjoy this, and so we just, we can't thank you enough. Again, all you guys that are on Facebook that haven't hit the subscribe button, please go ahead and hit subscribe. It's just right there. You just hit it. Just boom, bell, boom. You don't have to do anything. And then please again, like we always say, liking our videos and subscribing, it just helps us out. It puts our videos in front of more people, and it helps drive interest in what we're doing. And if you like what we're doing, you can probably assume that people who are as smart and awesome as you are going to like it too.
Yes, and it is, to go off what Mike said, it's overwhelming. The support, the love, yes, from our friends, but now from friends of friends who you guys have been sharing our stuff with them. It's overwhelming. Literally, this is just the two of us, like we said before in the first video, doing what we would do anyways, and decided to share on video. We've known each other forever. This has just been so much fun, and you guys just make it exciting for us every week to want to come and do new videos for you today. So today, our video, which we talked about at the end of our last one, so hopefully you watched all the way through, is about, do we hold celebrities too much in the high regard? Are they idolized and worshiped too much? And I find it very interesting because we live in a culture where everything is scrutinized now, and you've got to watch out what you put on social media and stuff like that. And some of the people that you might have liked in the earlier days, 20s, 30s, 40s, all the way up until about where we are now, might have been able to get away with stuff because we didn't have 24-hour news going on. So it might be a little different. I was raised in a world where my grandmother was very religious. You were not allowed to idolize anyone because that was called false god. The only celebrity I really did really idolize, and luckily this person turned out to be a great person, is Walter Payton. Actually, I remember in 8th grade in our yearbook, we had to write our favorite personality or something of that. And I wrote Walter Payton, even though my mom read it and joked at me and said, "I'm mad at you that you didn't write your mom." But she got it. Love you, Mom. But that's it. And luckily, the one person
call your mom Sweetness just to make
But she is. Yeah, love you, Shorty. And I lucked out. The one person that I only ever looked up to ended up being a great man, a great person, a humanitarian. I mean, the NFL dedicates an award to him every year for who does outstanding humanitarian service in their community. Was very lucky enough.
Won by Russell Wilson of the Seattle Seahawks this year. So.
And I had the luxury to work for the Payton Foundation back in Chicago, and I actually had the honor of meeting Connie and Jared Payton, and it was such a thrill, and they were such sweet people, and it was just weird to not freak out about someone who was passed to their wife because she was married to your only hero ever outside of I would say my parents. So I lucked out in that way. I'm not saying not to like celebrities. I'm not saying to like sports people. Not bad to look up to them, but I do sometimes feel that we put them almost too far of a pedestal just because of their tier in society. And like I said, they're human. They're going to do bad stuff. Yes, I realize everyone's going to mess up. We're all human. And obviously, if someone you idolize does something bad, like murder, drugs, beat women, they
generally crappy
things.
Right.
I understand not doing that. But I still think that we've got to take what you think of a human being. Yes, they might be in the limelight,
Right.
but they're still just a human being.
See, that I agree with you on that, and I think that it was, and by the way, you guys, I'll totally figure out the screen next week. I'm still learning my own space. So I agree with you that, you know, I think, this is what I think. I think that where you're going is that, like, it's a different thing to idolize someone because of the works that they've done, or the good that they've done, or something like that, as opposed to, you know, if it's something like talent or something like that. But I also think that, you know, when you're into something, right? Like if you are, you know, if you love football or you love baseball, right? I think that the people that perform that to another level, right? Especially if you do it, are going to be people that you look up to. And so then you have to find that fine line between, am I looking up to this person? Is this somebody that I'm choosing to make as a goal for myself? Or is this someone that I'm just idolizing because I'm idolizing them because they, because I'm giving them sort of mystic ability? And I think that's the thing that I worry most about with athletes in particular, because one of the things about, and don't get me wrong, you know, I'm not saying that what athletes have done and what they have achieved is not admirable, but what I'm saying is I'm coming at this from the fan standpoint, not from the athlete standpoint. As a fan of someone who has gotten there, right? If you look at, say, you know, any sports figure, I mean, that's, you know, if you go with Walter Payton even, right? Mm-hmm. You have to understand that was a lifelong pursuit for them to get there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, Walter Payton didn't, like, you know, all of a sudden, he wasn't like at the AM, PM, and they were just like, hey, man, you won't come try to play football, man?
And
like,
he just, like,
right,
okay,
he was just like, yeah, sure, I got nothing else to do.
I'm a clock out early.
Yeah, that's it. I was just, let me get this guy this Slurpee, and, you know, that isn't what it, right? Like, this is somebody who's been working on their skill and working on their whole life, right? And so it's a completely different thing. To look at them and say, hey, you know, that is worthy of admiration. And I think that's the big difference. It's that admiration. Is it a goal, or is it just like this blank, like this sort of blanket idolatry, right? And I'm not saying, like, I don't, like, again, and just I don't necessarily share the false idol, like, issue,
yeah,
right? I'm just generally not religious.
Oh, I'm not either. It was just right. It was kind of bred. It was bred. Yeah.
But, like, that was, like, for me, I was like, you know, I don't even know if my dad stepped foot in a church. And if he did, he probably had to buy some new shoes. Ooh, it's hot! It's hot! Ooh, it's hot! But yeah, love you, Oscar. But legit, like, there's a difference between admiration and idolatry, right? There's a difference between I respect how much work and effort this person has put into their trade. I respect how much effort this person has put into their craft, right? You know, even with, you know, like, go beyond sports, go into actors and actresses, right? And you go with people who, you know, people that because, again, because of their celebrity, they get a lot of the, like, oh, I love you and I don't know why, and, like, you know, I'm going to send you emails about how much I, like, want to be with you and all that stuff. Because people see them as the characters that they're playing, and they don't see them as human beings. And I think and I think you hit on a super, super key point, is that it's not so much that admiration is bad. It's when you take a person who has made this achievement, and again, that's awesome. You're an NFL player, you're a Major League Baseball player, you're an actor, an actress, a rock star, pop star. You've gotten all that, right? But I understand what you're saying, because there is this part where we forget that these are people, these are humans that did the right. They made some really great choices. Some of them had a little bit of luck.
Oh yeah.
Some of them had a little bit of luck and a little bit of talent. Some of them had a whole lot of work with a little bit of talent. And, you know,
and some had a lot of talent and a lot of work.
Right, and some had a whole lot of talent and a whole lot of work.
What, Samuel L. Jackson didn't hit it until he was in his late 40s?
Yeah, like later in life, you know, you've got, and there's a bunch of, like, I mean, I don't like Dame, oh God, she just won an Oscar for playing Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, Dame, Judi Dench.
Judi Dench.
Yeah.
Right? Judi Dench
Had been working for
years and years and years. I mean, stage but we didn't know who she. Right.
Not until her 60s, she won an award.
Right. That she won an award that, like, really, that, like, a lot of us knew who she was.
Outside
of England and all that, like, to get that, like, worldwide fame, right? Like, she was an older woman when, like, we found out who she was. But that was years of work. That was a 40-year-long career before people in the United States really knew who she was, right? I mean, when she played, she was in the James Bond stuff, and I mean...
Taking over, yeah.
Right, and so we just kind of think... So we forget that these people that we idolize are people, that these are people that like put in a lot of work, or who happen to just have, and this is real. Like, you can have, and I think you and I both know this. We've been in and out of, like, the entertainment industry for, like, years and years and years throughout our lives. And the one thing that we can always say, and I think that every entertainer and every athlete will probably 100% agree with this, is that there are much better singers than the rock stars, pop stars, or everything else we have. Don't get me wrong, Adele is freaking fantastic. And so, and you look at Adele, is absolutely fantastic, ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
I just totally went blank. Jennifer Hudson is absolutely just, like, that voice is, like, it's stunning, right? But I think that both Adele and Jennifer Hudson will tell you, I'm fully aware that there are some women out there that would, like, put me to shame and on my own stuff.
And here's the funny part, is from the world we come in, and that where the celebrity, which is really interesting, differs. And it's the one factor of celebrityism.
Celebritism?
We'll go with it.
Fanology?
I do find, because you mentioned, is theater. It's not the same... And I'm not talking about what we did, regional, local.
Right.
I'm talking about, like, the big,
like touring company
and theater, Broadway and stuff like. Not the same, like, fanaticness to it. Now, we do know some theater people who are fanatics.
There are some, right? Like, theater does have its, like, super
it's
fans.
Not. Right. It's weird because it is. We've known people on Broadway who can out-sing some of those people,
right? And
it's weird. It's the one medium compared to sports, to acting, to rock stars.
Well, because and the thing is I think, well, first, this is my honest opinion. I think that one of the saddest parts about our entertainment industry and our entertainment community is that live theater, I mean, you've got the push of... It gets pushed every so often, right?
Like recently...
Right, recently Hamilton, you had everybody just like, I gotta go see Hamilton.
Yeah, unfortunately, what's going on in the world is actually kind of...
Right, has quelled theater a lot, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, you had the Book of Mormon right after that, which people went out and saw. And then, you
had some of the movies that came out to get the push.
That were live theater movies. I mean, you go back way in the day, and you've got, like, Cats and things like that, and all this. And so there have been these huge moments in theater, right? But during those huge moments, like, it's a pocket, right? It's a microcosm. I mean, you grew up with your mom doing, like, theater all over the country and, like, having to travel and all of that stuff like that, and we're from, like, again, we're familiar with that, like, community theater, regional theater kind of feel, right? But people don't, community theater and regional theater always loves it when Broadway gets a big one.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because when Broadway gets a big one, then everybody wants to go see theater all of a sudden, right?
Or when the big one from Broadway becomes a star, and then people go back and look and like, oh, he was on Broadway? And you get that little, like, once again, that common person goes, okay, he might not be in that show, but he was in that show, and I thought he was a good actor on this TV show. Right. Maybe I should check out that show he was in once.
Exactly. Right? Like, let's go see that. Or, oh my God, I didn't know that was written by this particular playwright. Yes. I want to go check it out.
And I will say, that is one thing, Lin-Manuel has put such a good stamp on it, because not only he's made people interested in theater with Hamilton, he's introduced history to a whole new generation with the mix of hip-hop and live theater. He's now writing for Disney, starring for Disney, and I feel right now that he is, to use the only term I can think of, the martyr of theater right now. Like, he is the face of, like, oh, he's doing it, we know this name, let's go see
Right.
him. And I think that's why Disney signed him to like a 3, 4, 5 picture deal or something like that.
And
to kind of bank.
Well, because you know it's a winner,
Yeah.
right? You know you've got like, and I think that's the thing is that and again these are people to admire.
Yes.
Right? These are people to be like, yeah, you did so much work, you put so much effort in. Right, you were there every day. You were grinding.
Oh yeah.
And then boom, and then it comes to fruition. Is that idolatry or is that admiration? And that's a huge, huge thing. That's a huge difference. Now, before we get like way, because we're getting on and we just totally went down a big theater.
Yeah.
But we're theater people, so deal with it. All right, okay. Anyway, so
acting. Sorry.
So long and short of the story, Rob and I have done a lot of theater work together. We've also supported each other through our theater work. We did a really, really god-awful show that was funded by the Kellogg Foundation in Battle Creek, Michigan that we're both
Pretty ashamed of.
We're not we're not
I'm
ashamed. I'm not ashamed.
I'm ashamed. I'm just glad I got paid really well.
Because I'm going to tell you, I'm not ashamed because we did. That was a really good paying show. But I'm really not ashamed because I've done so much crappier shows. Oh my God, have I done worse shows?
No, I don't think I have. But anyways, we're tangenting.
Yeah. No. All right. So wait. Wait. I gotta hit you with this because again, we're talking about like, do we idolize, the celebrities? Do we idolize sports? And I have to. For me. When I was thinking about doing this subject today, what occurred to me was that like we have to, and I'm like, God, I don't even know when I'm going to bring this up or how I'm going to bring this up, but I know that at some point during this we have to address the kind of elephant in the room, right?
Okay.
Because it's new. It's not like somebody's like, but we have to kind of address the elephant in the room. And what I wanted to talk about really quickly, and I know we've only got a few minutes left, but I wanted to talk really. I wanted to say. Okay, so we just had the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That happened.
Yes.
And when we talk about idolizing people and we talk about people being a goat and things like that, so 7 rings.
Yes.
7 rings for Mr. Brady.
Yes.
Now, here's the thing. And I know how you guys feel. I know that there's 85% of you that are like, F him. F him, F him, F him. Because here's the thing, right? And I get you, right? So, because for me, here's this, like, all right, he's this amazingly talented athlete with this square-jawed superhero look.
Golden Boy.
Who just happens to be dating a model and living in an effing castle. He lives in an effing castle. Anyway, so you're square-jawed white boy superhero. Your wife's a model. You live in a castle. But here, and everyone hates you because of that, because of the fact that you're a square-jawed white boy who's dating a model that lives in a freaking castle.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Here's the thing. But if you're Brady,
you don't care.
How do you feel about the haters right now?
You don't.
You
don't care,
right?
That goes with who we grew up with, who was at the time and is always in, GOAT conversation in sports altogether. Was Jordan. And if you watch the documentary, Jordan did not care.
Right.
He was about winning.
Right.
And I am not a Brady fan. I will give
him, I'm not a Brady fan.
I will give him props.
But here's the thing. I will. So here's the thing. And this is going back to like idolatry and so okay. So we know that Tom Brady has been he has been being groomed to be the man that he is. For a very, very, he is, I don't know, I'm not going to say that he was playing Pop Warner, but whatever rich little white kids play that's not Pop Warner, right? Yeah. And so he's been playing this game he's been getting to where he is for very long. The man's 40 years old, which means that he's been playing football for over 20-something years,
40,
right?
42,
42, so that's over 25, probably close to 30 years of football that he's been playing. Yeah. Maybe over 30 years that he's been playing football.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Regardless of how you feel about him as an individual, he is that good. He is that good, and not only is he that good, but this year, you have to give it to him that he went out to it. He made a statement.
Oh, yeah.
And what he really said was that, in case you were wondering, it wasn't anybody around me, it was me.
Yes, and I will...
And I can do this with any team, anywhere, anytime, me.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing. Now here's the problem that we have with the whole idolatry versus admiration. Mm-hmm. So in that thing, right? no one has a right to hate on Tom Brady for who he is, but when they talk about that idolatry versus admiration thing, the person that he is has taken away our ability to admire him. Because I can look at you and I can say, I respect what you've done. Mm-hmm. I respect that you're like you are. Give it to you. You're go. You got it. You're go. Right now, you're go. Totally go. Like I got to give you that. Mm-hmm. But you're kind of a dick.
Yes,
which
is funny because coming up soon that leads us to another show that we've got planned.
Right.
So
right.
we might.
I'm going to say one more thing about this, and then when I say that you're a dick, right? What I'm going to say is that and this is why. I just want to explain this so that when I look at the camera and I say, hey, the reason that I'm not that I feel that it's inappropriate is because I think you're a dick.
Yeah.
Is because I've watched your career for years
and how you treat people,
and I watched how you treat people, not how you play, how you treat people. I have watched you walk off the field and scream at people. I have watched you have what is really, and I've watched
temper tantrums.
Have temper tantrums, and it's not leadership. Yeah. Now, here's the thing: do you win? Yeah, you win. Most of the time, you win because you're really that good. And and to be honest with you got Gronk.
Yeah,
You know,
got a safety net.
You got a safety net. Gronk is going to catch it whether or not he if Gronk thinks that his neck's going to get broken, he's still going to catch the ball. Yeah. He'll be upside down with somebody's foot in his throat, and he's still going to catch the ball.
Yeah.
Because he really doesn't want you to yell at him.
Yeah.
Is really probably what it boils down to.
It's not even the yelling, because a lot of competitive people yell at their teammates. It's just the way it comes off with him, I feel. Mm-hmm. Because you'll see, if you're the captain, yeah, you're supposed to get on your team.
Get on your team, be that leadership thing, but it's the way he does it. Because I watch Russell Wilson yells at his guys too, but it doesn't feel the same. And and you can see, and here's the thing, because I'm watching TV, right? And it's HD, but I'm still just watching TV. I'm not there. I'm not in that, I'm not 3 feet away from you listening, but it is HD TV. So when I look at your body language and I look at your facial expressions, what I see when Russell Wilson is yelling at his team is, dude, let's get this going. We gotta, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
when I look at Tom Brady, it's, what is wrong with you?
Yeah. No, I get it.
Right? And it's completely different. So, when I say, do we idolize versus do we admire, or do we idolize at all, or do we admire? A lot of it has to do with who are you as a person, and obviously it's how much work have you done, which everybody, doesn't matter, hey, you know what? All these people that are famous and rich have done a shit ton of work.
I would say there's only a 20%.
There's a handful that's got oops, I accidentally got famous.
Yeah, one I can think of, who I did love, hope he's a lot better, was Edward Furlong was an oops. He got found at an arcade.
Right.
And that does happen.
And which is really funny, because at the time they were just so we have this scene where John Connor is going to be playing in an arcade. Hey, that kid is playing in an arcade. We should totally give,
Yeah.
They literally looked at the back of his head and they were just that's John Connor.
Yeah, so there are, don't get me wrong, there are, not even oops, there are, random stardom that does happen. But most of the people that we watch on any level, sports, music,
right?
They
busted their ass. They put in the work.
Here's a weird thing.
We are not saying these people have put in the work. It's should I idolize you? Should you be should I worship you? It's really cool. We have and this is one of the people that I don't know if they follow us on. They follow us on one of the social media platforms, but they're local here, right? And they follow us on the social media platforms. And they do this whole big Lady Gaga tribute page. It's and it's cool, right? It's cool. They're local. They dress up like her, and it's one person, but she dresses up like her, and she does the whole thing, and it's wicked cool, right? It's very, very cool to watch. But it's not, it's not creepy. No, it's not
I look. It almost sounds like when you have a cover band and they cover specific band that they base after because they like that band.
Right.
It's more of it has an admiration or a tribute to that person more than maybe idolization.
The idolization, right. And I think that's the thing, is that there's this huge difference, and I think that's the thing there's a huge difference between I admire you, I respect you, I admire you, I idolize you.
Yeah.
And idolizing has so much to do with
that's when you start getting to weird letters and
and you also have to and that's weird because then there's a question of character. Like you're talking about the character of that person versus your character, and like whether or not like and it does. You're right. It gets to that point where there's that creepiness.
Yeah, and we're not talking about screaming fans at concerts because we have all we've all screamed like a 13-year-old girl at a concert.
And it's so incredibly rare that like somebody's gonna like show up at somebody's house. But when you talk about the letter writing and things like that, it's like, hey, look, these are not magical creatures.
Yeah,
these are just people that did a lot of work.
Here's my one good example. It's always creepy and basically changed the trajectory of an actress' career and how she looked at life. Was the guy who went to go shoot Reagan for Jodie Foster?
Oh,
was John Hink?
Yeah, Hink something
like that.
Yeah,
that's.
It was Pink. You got the first part right.
Something like that. Yeah. When you get to that, when you start getting to that level, you might want to take a
and then I think, and this is really because this is kind of a
to
thing
impress her,
right? But this is a thing that we've talked about like across a couple of episodes is that there is this point where we get into irrational thought, right? Where you're just like you're not thinking.
Yeah.
You're either responding or you're having this emotional this emotional incident and if you can't, you gotta go get somebody to help you out. If you're at that point where you're like I
love this person so much I want to hurt someone else to impress them,
right? Like, God, I love you so much, like again, like I love you so much that your skin looks comfortable. Just a warm blanket of skin.
Rub the lotion.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. That's weird. Don't do that. So we totally half talked about what we were going to talk about tonight. But thank you guys so much for taking a trip down all of our big theater offshoot and all of our things. But I think in general, you guys remember that everybody who is famous is a person that wakes up in the morning and takes a shower and has to take a crap and wants some breakfast and sometimes needs some coffee and sometimes they forget to brush their teeth
and sometimes they mess up like we all do
and they all have to wear deodorant and they all have to poo.
Yeah. And once again, this is not us telling you how to feel about people. This is just our opinions. And yes, there are obviously celebrities I like that I enjoy to watch. That I wear certain people's jerseys. Obviously, music, but they're people, and I would say living vicariously through a celebrity's life is not the most healthiest thing to do. You can enjoy their music, you can embrace the music, you can feel the music, you can connect with the music, their performance, whatever. But you still need to be you.
Yeah.
But I want to bring this up because we're going to be wrapping up soon because I am super, 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 one more time, super excited about next week's topic. And we are going to talk about
shit. I'm so excited.
Because it'll be the last video of February.
We're going to have 30 seconds.
And we should want to knock it out for Black History Month. We will be doing our top 10 favorite blaxploitation movies next week. Very, very excited. Once again, that's Mike.
And that's Rob. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. You guys have a great week. And we'll see you soon. Also, don't forget, we are going to get everything going with the Facebook Live. That's going to happen in a very, very short period of time. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the Rob and Mike Show.